there's something that we lost as a kid, that the sense of like trying
Play.
something new and playing and it being okay. And it's okay to make mistakes, because these mistakes make you greater. Like, it teaches you something. That I feel that as sewists, we need to go back to being a child and just remember the fun and the joy of it. And it's okay to allow different people in, because it can make us better sewists. By allowing someone different in, they may be able to show you a new technique that may change the revolutionary of sewing altogether, by just allowing someone else in that's a little bit different from you.
Hello and welcome back to Splitting Seams. My name is Shannon and I am your host. For today's show, we chat with Chanova. She is a friend of mine, as well as someone who has tested for me in the past and has been a fellow striker on various strike teams. I know I say this every time, but I genuinely was looking forward to having this conversation with Chanova. I really wanted to share her with you. If you hadn't watched any of her YouTube channels or watched anyone kind of just have a conversation with her, she is someone who is genuinely positive, and she finds the best in everyone. And she not only does she find it and see it, and she shares it. And so every day on her mostly daily live, the Captain's Log, she kind of shares what she did that previous day, or what she has coming up, what she's working on with her Patreon and things like that. But she will sew up a pattern or anything, and she talks about it with you, and you kind of explore the whole pattern, the benefits of it, some things that she may suggest changing, but in the talking about it, she's just so extremely positive, and I find that to be so admirable. I love to hear that. Like, she digs deeper. It's not just surface level. She genuinely has an appreciation for other people's work, and I just think that's so wonderful. So Nova and I had such a good time in our conversation that I ended up having to trim down some bits of it just so that it could be kind of within the time limit that I would like to have for episodes. Genuinely, I had a great time, and I hope you do. So let's get into the show. All right. Let's get into the show, only because I'm happy to chat with you, but we should probably do it recording-wise, because we are 32 minutes into a chat. So
They'll be like, what's going on?
Right, no. I think that was probably a perfectly fine intro that people will probably giggle at, so we're going to leave that in. Okay, so now that we've established that we've had this chat before the show even started, I'm sure we'll continue on after we end recording. Can you introduce yourself and your part in our sewing community for those that don't know you, but I'm sure many of us do?
Hi, my name is Shaneova, aka Nova. Most people call me Nova because it's easier than saying Chanova. I have a channel called That's So Nova. I like to sew bags. I like to sew all kinds of things. So I come from a very diverse sewing world. I've been sewing since I was like 4 years old. My abuelita, she came here from Spain, and she uh, kind of created her own little sewing business where she made custom gowns and tailored suits, and
Wow.
she also made her bags, but they made bags in a different way where they like kind of put fabric on formed bags and kind of
Okay.
like they were like pre-made clutches that you just kind of tuck
Covered.
fabrics in. Yeah, covered them. Kind of like if you think of a button cover, they were like that for
Oh,
handbags.
okay.
And so because I was the closest to the ground, I was hemming at the age of 4. You know how our normal like, oh my God, as soon as someone finds out we can sew, they can hem. Well, I know that all too well. And from there, the reason I got my business name is Nova's Knits is because when I was little, instead of like sewing on the sewing machines a lot, my grandmother also showed me how to knit, and she had a very like heavy accent, and she would be like, "Nova, get your knits in." So that's how Nova's Knits got together because everyone's like, where did that come from? It's because of knitting as well. So there's enough knitted scarves around here to last anybody for the apocalypse. And I do it occasionally. I don't do it that often. I'll like knit like babies blankets or things like that for family members if they're having a child or something, or I'll quilt a
Oh,
blanket.
oh.
So yeah, I
Um,
stopped sewing.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I
No,
stopped
you're
sewing
fine.
for a little while, and then I got back into sewing after I had my first child. And then um, when my son was about 3 or 4, I seen Alicia's patterns from Swoon, and that's all I needed. I
Wow.
never. I mean, I honestly, I don't think anyone hasn't been introduced to Swoon. I think it's weird if you didn't know what a Swoon pattern is.
Right, right. Yeah, maybe if they just came in right now into the sewing community to not know who Soon was or is, it's kind of I can maybe let them get away with that.
Yeah.
But like if you were here like even 3 years ago, 2 years ago, no. Um, so how many years ago would you say it was since you sewed your first bag?
I want to say maybe I want to say maybe 10 years ago. I think I sewed like I tried to sew a swoon bag, and I thought I could do it, and I tried to do the Maisie, and that was the wrong move. That bag is so difficult for your first bag, and I think I sewed a crafty Gemini bag, and it was a bucket bag, and I thought it looked great. Now I went back to recently look at it. It did look good. It just had no like interfacing at all. Like I don't know.
I don't know what it is about new sewists that are like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need interfacing. What are you talking about?
No,
It's
yeah.
really pretty. It's like I used recyclable denim and like this like Paris fabric that I guess I got from Joann's. I really miss Joann's. I just want to throw that out. um It's pretty. It came on my timeline in Facebook, and I was like, "You know what? Looking I Because sometimes when we look back at our pictures, we're like, "Oh my god, this is abysmal," or whatever.
Yeah,
I
so
I
cringy.
actually really liked my first bag. I was like, "This is pretty solid." I mean,
No, I love that.
but there's other bags that I've made since then. I'm like, "Yeah, no, Chanova, no." But yeah, the
Yeah,
Maisie,
yeah.
because like the Maisie is shaped very awkward. It's
I
not.
can't picture it.
Okay,
Let me
when
look
you
it up
have a
real quick.
chance of, especially anyone out here, when you have a chance, if you have the Maisie on Swoon, it is
How do you
shaped,
spell it?
I think it's Maisessie
Okay.
from Swoon.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Maissey,
I, don't,
maybe?
I think it's IE.
We'll see.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
It has like the most unique shaped gusset. It's not very flattering. When you see, you know when you know when you see it. Okay, like
Yeah.
when you pull it up, and then it is not fun. It's not fun. And that is one bag I keep saying I'm gonna go back to redo, but secretly a little afraid to do it. I think if I bind
That's
it
okay.
it'll be okay.
Yeah, and then you're gonna go back and you're gonna redo it, and you'll do it your way, and you're gonna feel so much better about it, and then you're gonna be walking on sunshine, just thrilled that you've done debunked that fear you've had for the last however many
It's
years.
one of it's one of those bags, like, because you go into the swim group, it's still active, and every now and again, you'll see different
Mhm,
bags. You'll see, like, a Denver, or you'll see, like, a
mhm.
Betty Bowler, or you'll see something, but the Maisie is one of these very few bags, like, when it pops up, you're like, "You did it. You did it for the group." Like, it's very unique. The shape of the gusset is it it's like it comes up and then, like, another gusset comes around like a taco. It's like a very weird it's a very weird
Oh my I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
look further at
just
it.
look at it and you'll be like it's like the body of the bag comes around it like a taco onto the gusset, and I'm just like, "There's no room for error on this." Like,
Mm.
yeah, it's a very weird bag. So, like, I think that was, like, my first one, and then I was, like, defeated, and then I found Crafty Gemini, and then, because of Crafty Gemini, and I know this like the back of my hand, and Sarah Lawson went to Disney World with their kids, And I was like, "Who's this?" And that's how I got introduced to Sew Sweetness.
Oh,
And then
okay.
and then from there, like, the world kinda expanded, and I started seeing all these indie designers, and
Mhm.
that's how I found all of you guys. And then one day I stumbled upon Lauren because somebody was like, "Oh, Lauren's going live." I think in, like, it was either I don't know what group I was in, and then that's how I got to Sew Whatever, and
That's what so Nikki had told a story about how she was Lauren was kinda lost the privilege of sewing live in Swoon, and then she essentially that was the creation of Sew Whatever, and then she went live in there all the time, and then she went on YouTube.
yeah.
So, maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, that's prob
But,
it's
go ahead.
amazing one little thing can catapult into something so massive.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
'cause they're like, when I was in Swoon, when I was really trying to be active in Swoon, I remember seeing Alexis's bags. I had no idea that the person that I was admiring their bags so much would turn around and be Ora Rosa. Or and
Mhm.
also the other person I would admire their bags is Lavender Erica from Lavender and Twine. But
Mhm.
Erica, I actually met because we both like this, this fierce kid, not fierce kitten, something something kitten, this beautiful late young lady named Sean in UK. She makes all her clothes.
Okay.
And we both somehow were in her same like Facebook group. And she was like, "Hey, I'm going to start my own pattern making, bag making." And we were like, "Yeah, do it, do it, do it." And then she showed us all her bag, and that's how I started following Lavender and Twine. It's
Oh,
interesting.
wow.
It's like interesting how like you start following people and how
Mhm.
you see things happen from the beginning and how it expands. But
Right.
yeah, big fan of like all these people like for a while, and I just been in the background like quietly cheering everybody on, like you
I
can do
so that, I have my list of questions here, as I had said before, and, that was you just led right into just
like
perfect segue, thank you so much. So, you are one of the most prolific sewists I know. I don't know anyone who has sewn as big of a variety of patterns as you. Like, a lot of us have sewn a lot of things, but you have sewn so many different patterns. But not only that, you've also tested for so many different designers and you've done striking for various companies. And so, you have just kind of touched so many different corners of the sewing community in such wonderful ways. But it's not only so much that, and what you just said before was a great example of this. It's not just that you're prolific, and that like you are sharing these things, but like when you share what you make you have a daily live called the Captain's Log. I tune in often, not all the time, but I do like to come in, say good morning, because you tend to do them right when I'm sitting down and starting my day. And you will share what you made from the day before, and you'll share a test that you just did or something like that. And you don't just say, "Oh, I like it. It's nice," or whatever. You take the compliment and you take the positivity and you take it even further. And like you just have a deep appreciation for all these designers and these various companies. And you're just so extremely supportive of them. And I find that to be so admirable. And I love that you also, I call it like at this mental Rolodex of like, that so many designers, so many companies, and their accomplishments too. Like this so and so wrote a book, this so and so did this, this so and so did that. And like, I can't even, last episode, I couldn't even remember the name of the designer or the program that I use for my patterns. Like, I should know that. That should be locked and loaded, and I don't have it. So, like, I want to just give you kudos for being able to retain that and then also acknowledging it and sharing those things to other people. But for you, like, where do you think that like positivity? Do you think that positivity and that like just deep support of so many different people is like inherent to you, or do you consciously make the choice to pull out those compliments, to pull out, like, that extra it's, like, not just so much as saying, "Oh, this is nice," but you're like, "This is why it's nice. This is why it's beneficial," all those things, like, essentially, how are you not such a pessimistic person like I am? Like, please show me your ways.
I don't think you're pessimistic at all, actually. So, I think it's a little bit of column A and column B.
Okay.
I feel that in the climate that we're in, it's so easy to go negative.
So true.
Every time we turn on the news, it's negative. It's super negative. So if I am able to like make you laugh or make you think something great for just a brief moment, then I think I'm doing my job as a human. And also, I truly believe in the people that I'm testing for or I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing a strike for, because I don't do just strikes for everyone. I have turned down strikes because I don't believe in the company anymore or what they stand for. So if I'm testing for someone or striking for someone, it's because I believe in the person and I believe in the product that they're doing. Just for example, who we love, Olivia. Olivia treats us like gold. No one
Yeah.
knows how much she treats our strike team like we're family. It's not friends,
Yeah.
it's family. And how much work she puts into something, no one will ever know. There is a
Yeah.
design that's coming out right now and the artwork in it is outrageous. And when I asked her to, without giving out any real information, it's kind of like a comic book style and there is
Yeah.
some Japanese
It's a
writing.
mashup.
Yeah, it's like some Japanese writing on it, and I know what I'm doing with it. But I asked her ahead of time. I was like, "Hey, can you get someone to translate this, or do you have the
Mm-hmm.
translation?" She was like, "Hey, Shaneova, you know what? Before they even printed it, I had a translation with them, but I need to go back into our history. I need to search because me and the artist talk so much. I don't even know. I need to." Search engine
Yeah.
within the conversation, and that's how much she talks to her artists. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's not just putting things out there just because you and I or the world likes it. She puts out work that she believes in. She's
Yeah.
hiring people and she's not like not paying them. Like, I've seen some things in the fabric world that will just make you blush. Like, you cannot believe that they stole XYZ, and Olivia is authentically her. She believes in
Mm-hmm.
paying artists. She believes in taking care of the people that take care of her, and she will bend over backwards to make anyone happy. She's just genuinely a really good person. So
Mm-hmm.
when I talk about her products, I'm going to talk about them in a positive light because I know where it's coming from. If someone
Right.
says something mean about her, I will go to war. We ride at dawn. It's like, we ride at dawn. As optimistic as I am, you'll see a whole different Nova. Like, you'll be like, that is not
Mm-hmm.
Chanova. She's a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as testing, I get a lot of people asking me to test too. I've learned to pick and choose who I test for now because there are people that will really appreciate you in testing, and then there are people that don't. The more your name becomes known with testing, a lot of things can happen.
Yeah.
There are people that want you to test because your name is known and people trust your name and they want to know. They think if you tested this, it's okay for them to buy the pattern. And there are people that genuinely want you to test because they're excited to hear your intake. And
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that if someone is open to, constructive criticism, or I didn't understand this, or whatever, I'll stay on your testing team. If you're not a person that I can't come to and be like, I had the hardest time understanding this or
Yeah.
whatever, this will be the last time I test for you.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
So like everyone who I test for, I stand 10 toes behind.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah.
I've
Mm-hmm.
like, but there's a lot of people that I just don't test for anymore because I've said something and it made me feel like, okay, they just want me here for me to promote for them. And that's not what I'm here for. I thought you want me to test because
Yeah.
I genuinely do read every single word. And if I'm confused about something, I'm coming to you, and then I'll sit back and watch. And it's like weird at this point because if I'm like saying, hey, something's not right here, and then there's people now coming to you saying this doesn't make sense. I was like, dude, you could have figured this out during the testing period.
Right. Yeah. Like
Really?
we've talked about this in various episodes of like, when you get feedback from testers, like there are some things that you can absolutely decide to, like, you know what, that's your preference and that's okay. And I don't have to implement that. And there are other times where it's like, you know what, you're right. It doesn't, and a lot of it has to do in some ways with like, how necessary is it and how much work does it involve at this point in the process? So, like, as a designer, it can be tough to balance that sometimes. But, like I've said, like, when I have you on my test team, I have you on my test team because I want your input, I want your opinions. And then it's my job to balance what is practical and what is necessary and make that work as best as I can. You have been on my test teams, and I talked about this in Jenny's episode about how, like, at the end of every test team, I clear out my test team. I don't always bring everyone back, and there's no hard feelings about that. I loved having you on as a tester.
Yeah.
You didn't come back on for me. I didn't. I should say I didn't ask you to come back on for me for the Adina. No hard feelings there. I
Yeah.
just want to diversify my team. At some there are some that won't come back that were on the Adina for the next one, and they might come back on the next one. And so I like to juggle it a lot. But I remember when I was doing the Mayfield, you suggested that I put grommet holes on the pattern piece. And I was like, I should probably do that. But it was too much work. And I've always regretted that because there have been a few different people that have asked for that, and also asked for that on the templates as well, and I didn't put them on there either. So I have regrets, and there are times that I'm never going to say that I'm a perfect designer in any capacity, but I will say that I totally get what you're saying, and I hope that I hope that like something like that hasn't discouraged you from testing for me. But at the same time, if it did, stand your ground. Tell me to
No,
go kick
I can
rocks.
give you something that you do in your testing team that no one else does.
What is that?
You are the only person that I've ever had that when we do we all tester team has a this is the post where you put something in. But you're the only person I know that if we repeat, like we all say, there's not a dot after this sentence here, you say all of us can say it. Most of the time in other tester teams, they'll be like, Shannon already said that. Chanova said that. Like you're like, no, I want you to say what you don't find. Like to all of us.
Yeah.
That was, you're the first person I've ever seen. I was like, what? Because like
Yeah, no,
sometimes I don't read other people's
I
things.
don't
I like
expect you to. That's the
like
thing. Like that, I would if I was in your shoes, don't ask me to read 37 comments above you and then all of your responses to that. Like, don't ask me to do that. So I don't ever ask. Like, I am so adamant about that. But also, if you start going through everyone else's feedback, you're going to start to doubt your own. And
yeah.
that's, I don't want you to doubt yourself. I want you to just put it out there. Like, be as confident as you can with your feedback. And then, and as you know, in the test group, I mean, you give feedback and I will explain something. I will tell you how I corrected it. Most of the time, I just comment a screenshot that shows it corrected. And or we discuss it. Like I'll pull more information out of you. Okay, what about this? What do you think I should do this? It's a full on discussion. I almost feel bad for you guys because it's a lot to, this is my pattern, but I'm asking a lot of you in that conversation. But it's because I value it. But at the same time, like Nikki said in her episode, some designers just do want to have you on to promote. They want to have you on to essentially strike their pattern, not necessarily to test a pattern. And that's okay too if that's what they want, if they're confident enough in their work. But good for you for recognizing what you want to contribute and how you want to be valued in that test team, because I feel like throughout the podcast, we've talked so much about testing and like the challenges of it that there's been people that have commented saying like, well, I've always considered testing, but I ain't doing it now, essentially. And I'm like, I mean, that's fair because it's not always, cupcakes and rainbows.
Yeah, I actually think people should give it a go. But I think that people should be let them know what they're in for. My thing is that I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm a slow not learner, like a slow sewist." I'll hear a lot that I'm a visual learner, And
Mhm.
those are all valid things. Like, I have dyslexia, I have ADHD, right? But the thing is that you don't have a video for us. We are
Right.
going there, and sometimes most designers sometimes have pictures even missing because they're
Right.
still taking pictures. So these are all things you need to take into account, that you are on a time crunch. It might be 2 weeks, it might be a month. It's I hate heck, I've been in testing scenarios where it was like 1 week. I've had videos
Mhm.
where this person's like, "Hey, Chanova, I need you to do a video," and it's like 3 days, and you're like, "What?" Okay.
Mhm.
Like, okay, and like, these are all valid things, but this is a part of being a tester, like,
Right. It's a
and
challenge.
it is a challenge, and if that is a challenge that you're like, "Ah, challenge accepted," then I say go
Right.
for it. If you're like, "Okay, no, I don't think I could be good for it," then
Mhm.
that's okay. That
Right.
there are people that are willing to do so, and there are different people with different disabilities or capabilities that can do it. Because right here, you have a person that has to read a paragraph like 4 times because her dyslexia gets the best of her, and that's why
Mhm.
I write notes and I'll write weird stuff like, "Can you put this
Mhm.
here on this pattern piece?" Or I had to mention to someone, I had one designer that now they forever put labels on everything because I'm like, it was one particular pattern. I was like, "You guys have so many reverse pattern pieces," and I'm like, "Oh, we need, for the sake of everybody that has dyslexia, please, please put a
That is
label
fair.
on those."
I think you suggested that to me with one pattern, and then somebody else suggested it again with another pattern, and it's one of those things where I tried to use it. I tried to use, like, it's like a grid. You cut up the labels and you attach them to the pieces as you use them, and
Mhm.
it just, like, I don't have dyslexia. I haven't technically been diagnosed with ADHD. Nobody's
Yeah.
denying that I have it. Everybody knows Shannon is on the spectrum, okay? We already know this. It's fine. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, perfect fine.
But it just doesn't work for my certain flavor of ADHD, okay? It
Yeah.
doesn't it you know, it's but so I have considered doing it multiple times, and I have never bit the bullet, but maybe one day I will. It's only
It's
an extra page of stuff.
it's only for mirrored pieces because it's the whole
Oh, I
like,
see what you mean.
I'll be like left, right, right. Like, it's mirror pieces, and I'm like, if they see me doing this on camera, they're gonna be like, "What is wrong with Shaneova?" And I'll be like,
No, that's
yeah.
have you ever read, the Will Trent series?
No, I haven't. I
Dude,
had
you should. First of
okay.
all, um, you like documentaries,
Yes, I
you like
do.
true crime,
I do.
you like fiction.
I do.
Okay, so there's a Will Trent it's called the Will Trent series, and I just deep dove down this, like, over the last 6 months, and I listened to all of them, but there's a show that's very loosely related to the books. I never watched the show, but I love the books, but I heard the show was way different, so I'm like, "Well, I love the book, so why would I watch a show?" Um, but anyway, he suffers from really bad dyslexia, and I thought about him so often, or thought about you so often while listening to this series because I wondered, how accurate it was because I don't know anyone
Mm,
closely with dyslexia, but his certain flavor of dyslexia was pretty bad, and so he did a lot of color coding, like left and right was hard for him, like
yeah.
following verbal directions and things like that, and so I just always wondered, if how much of a challenge of, testing was for you, and that's actually one of the questions that I have. Again, the segues,
Yeah. Oh,
Nova. The
um,
segues.
see, one of my favorite patterns designers that I test for is Alexis. So because I don't know if she did this
From
because of me,
Orosa.
or Rosa, is because she breaks down her packs in her patterns into 6 packs. Because of her, it's right here. So because of her, I now have folders and I break them down into 6 packs. And because of her, when I do videos, I could be like pack 2, pack 3, and it's easier for my brain to register stuff. When I do regular design, like when I do videos for other people, I have to, like, how do I say this? Like, I have to do a dry run in my head
Okay.
of what's going to
Yeah.
be doing, and then I have to break things down into different packs for me to start this video.
So when you say packs, do you mean like essentially sections, or is it like this whole pack you're doing fusing? to essentially right before assembly
So
for all of those specific pieces, or what?
she'll be like, pack 1 is going to be straps.
Okay.
Everything dealing with straps. Pack 2 is going to be exterior, this exterior front pocket, and then pack 2 is like this. So it like, and she has the packs broken down in the instructions
the table
as
of
well.
contents. So it's like sections.
Yeah.
But is it like fusing as well, or is there like a
No,
prep section as
that's a
well?
prep section as well. So
Okay.
when she came up with this, I was like, she just made my life a whole lot easier. Like for some odd reason, in my flavor dyslexia, if things are well organized and planned out, my anxiety goes completely away. Like I feel super confident and I can totally rock it. Like in school when teachers used to give syllabuses out and like give instructions what the class is going to be like for the whole semester, I can rock and get that thing an A. But when the teacher does like free will, like, oh, we're going to just talk about this and let it go, the conversation go all willy nilly, I would like just sweat my hands, my armpits. I'll be like, gee, Jiminy Christmas, because it would freak me out. I didn't know because I get
Why do you think I have a list right in front of my face right now?
right here. I will get tongue tied and then I will be like, oh my God, everyone's going to know. Because in my head, I'm saying all these stuff, but it just doesn't come out of my mouth like the way it says it in my head. And so it just became easier for it. And because of the way she does her patterns, that's how I started assembling things in my head with other people's patterns. Like, okay, step 1, we're just going to do all the strap stuff. And I just stuff everything in box number 1. 2, exterior, everything. Interior for this. And then this is how I break everything down in my head with someone else's pattern. And then I'll just highlight things. So that way when I do videos or if I do lives, it's just easier for me to navigate because of her. I don't know if I've ever even told her, because of her packs, I think it kind of made me a better sewist because it's not as confusing.
Right. So you're kind of you're setting aside the part that gave you that anxiety, that gave you that confusion, and you're able to more successfully navigate the learning process and just the sewing process as well. That makes a lot of sense. I'm very intrigued by this pack thing because like visually, I'm like I don't know what exactly it is that you're referencing in the pattern. So I'm learning here, so bear with me. So in her pattern, just disclaimer, not that I'm going to copy this, everybody. I'm just asking. But okay, so she's like, all right, now you've done the prep work. I want you to separate the pieces into these groups, or is it like, okay, this section is only going to focus on these pieces, or is like the actual separation of these packs a part of the process?
Well, I mean, you don't have to separate them, but she there's kind of like a weird, I don't want to say table of contents, but it could be considered a table of contents. It's 1 page and then the packs will be separated. You can see each things, like, so you'll see all the straps in pack 1. You'll see like pack 2 where
so the table of contents has like the materials that you are going to be using like as a subtitle in the table of contents.
It'll say
okay,
like
so it's not
1.
just the section title.
Yeah, it'll say like pack 1 and then it'll say like straps and like it will have all the straps, the handles, and like the connectors. And then it'll say like pack 2 and it'll be like the exterior pockets and like, let's say if we're going to do your label. She's really good at making, she is one of the only ones also that are really. No, you also talk about putting labels on things too.
Recommended
Maggie
spots,
55. If you guys don't tell me,
Erica does it too.
Yeah, if someone doesn't tell me to put the label on, trust and believe.
Especially the first time you're sewing it.
Oh my God, I'm so bad at putting labels on. And anyways, I need someone at the end of the pattern like Chanova, when you're done and you're taking pictures, please watermark your pictures. And I'll be like, maybe, just maybe I'll do that.
Man, I don't even do that anymore because I'm like, I've had my photos cropped and stolen enough times from freaking suppliers that I'm just like, What does it matter? Like, if you need proof, honey, I got 30 other pictures of the same angle of the bag. I can prove to you that was just slightly out of focus. Okay,
No,
like
we can't say that. Or Olivia earmuff it because Olivia will both
she gets
lecture us
so mad
both
at me.
over her. She gets so mad. So mad.
If my label is on there with my logo, I'm like, I'm not watermarking that picture, Olivia. I don't need to. It's on the bag.
This goes back to she treats us like family. She gets so mad and we don't watermark.
I know. I'm like,
So
Olivia,
mad.
it doesn't matter. You've seen that. Those are my pictures that you see suppliers are using.
I'll be like,
It doesn't matter.
It's something we can do about it.
They don't give a shit.
I was like, I straight up seen my bag, someone saying that they can make it. I was like, I like to see them try, but go for it because I Mod Podged like 2 different bags together, and they had the audacity to be like, "What pattern did you use?" And I'm like,
Nova, I'm gonna need you to stop guessing where I'm going next with the questions.
I was like, I'll give you information. I have no problem giving you information because I'm not a gatekeeper. That's not. I think
I need to read my question verbatim. Where is it? Okay.
I'm not a gatekeeper. That's why I'm like, because in the beginning you were asking about the positivity. Because like I think when I was starting off bag making, I would ask people, and they're like, I can't think of the names of the people now, but I would ask them questions, and they'll be like silent, and somebody will ask a different question, and they will answer them. I'm like, it's because I'm new to the sewing group, or
no. So I'm gonna read you what I wrote. Normally I type it out so my brain knows where I want to go later, and then I just wing it. I'm gonna read you verbatim because I did not ask you this question, and you're turning into the host here. And this is what it says. Okay, when it comes to coming up with fun and unique hacks and decorative elements, some people gatekeep that knowledge, but you don't. You seem to happily share your knowledge, which of course sparks inspiration in others to replicate some elements. I can speak from experience when I can say that it can be wonderful to be the one to spark that inspiration in others, but it can also be a tricky thing to navigate. First paragraph. It's Shannon. We all know this. Second paragraph. This is something that hasn't been brought up on the show, and it's something that tends to only be addressed in small groups of friends, though occasionally accusations have been thrown around. I've had my own journey with feeling copied over the years, and I feel like I'm in a good place. Like, really, Shannon? How was I going to reference 2 paragraphs of a question on a piece of paper in the middle? Anyway, I'm not done. Sorry. I'm not done, of course. And I feel like I'm in a good place with it now. I've learned and accepted I have influence, and that means people appreciate my work. But sometimes it can be tough when you work so hard on something so special, only for it to no longer be yours the second you share it. Have you had your own journey with that, and how are you feeling about it nowadays? Now, the whole reason I read that was because you keep guessing what I'm going to ask next, and it's cracking me up.
I have no idea what the questions were. I told her I didn't want to know.
Right. Yes. Nova is the second guest to not want to see any of the questions ahead of time.
I just wanted to be authentically me.
My mind is blown.
Because here's the thing. If I know the questions, I will overthink it, and you'll get like serious face Chanova, and 99% of the time I'm goofy. So I wanted you to get me versus you like Shanova's stoic.
That's fair. I am just in love with the fact that like I don't have to segue shit. Now, granted, this is like 3 questions down from where I was talking earlier. And the dyslexia one was after this, but still, it's on my list. I only have like 8 of them. Okay, you've already guessed how many.
Oh, so okay. This is weird. I see when people's ideas get taken. Like to be honest with you, there was a bag. I'm not going to name a company that I felt like they took the connector idea for the Rosie on the bottom, and I was pissed. I was so pissed off, and because the way how it all panned out and worked out, it wasn't. I don't believe in coincidences at all. I don't. I have never believed in coincidences, and I was pissed. I was so pissed. I told my husband about it, and he was like, Kendall is not like one of those guys who are like, oh, you're really invested. No, he like knows more about the sewing business probably than I do. Like he's like,
dude, and I talked some tea at dinner last night. My son took off his headphones to listen.
He was like,
look, they know about it. They're like ready for it. They're ready for the sewing world tea. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I showed my husband, and I showed him the other bag when it happened, and
I don't even think I know what you're talking about.
I'll tell you about the information after. And he was like,
you guys don't get to hear
you
it.
don't get to hear it because snitches get stitches. I showed him and he was like, yeah, that's not a coincidence. And then I was mad. I get mad when I see my friends' ideas, who are designers' ideas, get taken, and you know how it happened when you can see how A went to B, and like you've seen how it worked out. So I get mad. With me, no, I don't, because I usually tell people how I do things. Like I'll be like, oh, I took this piece and I do this. Now when I do have Patreon where it is about where I teach people how to do modifications. That is a different scenario. I'm teaching them how to like take like it's now I Sew Bag, but when it was I was underneath a different company. It was under a different owner. How to make it longer, how to make it look like the what is it, how to make it look like a different Dooney and Burke bag, and how to make it taller and how have a slouch. It's different because now I'm teaching you how to modify and splice patterns, and that is a whole different ballgame. You can't be in the public showing public patterns and things like that. You have to respect the designer, and it's a whole different thing. And teaching people how to modify pattern pieces is something that I've been doing for a long time. Again, I come from a garment background. So doing like sway bags, bust cups, adjustments, and things like that, it's like very easy for me. And I know a lot of us come from a quilting background, but because I come from a garment thing, I know how to adjust things with different shapes very easily. So that's a whole different thing for me. And the people that are in my Patreon, they support me because they see that I can teach them how to do something slightly different, or I'll have an idea that just sparks out of nowhere and it's different. But when I do like a small modification, it's open to the public. I'll tell people like, yeah, I did this pattern and I use this pattern with it. Or recently I did a trailblazer and I used the Andes backpack from Trailblazer's bag stock, you guys. And I used the Andes pockets from Creations. Now, with the Andes pockets, I modified them. I wanted the backpack to hold corks or 24-ounce bottles. And they're bigger than the original pattern piece. And I told them that, but I posted in my group that these are the two bags that I use. So that way, if they want to replicate it, they can support both designers. Buy the backstock bags, which are not very expensive patterns, and buy Creations, and you'll see the pattern. And if you have both of those, and I can confirm that you have both of those, I'll give you the measurements. I'll talk to both. I know both designers. All I need to do, does so-and-so have this? Does so-and-so have this? Cool. These are the measurements. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Because the backstock Trailblazer has been around for what, like 8 years?
I honestly, I don't know, but it's definitely was, I think, one of her early-ish patterns, but I could be wrong.
It's one of her earliest patterns. So the bag does not hold a regular 24-ounce bottle.
No, it is a big bag, so it could hold one, but the pockets are not designed. The pockets are more designed for like a phone. They're not designed for like a cup, or maybe like a small water bottle.
Yeah. So I wanted to design something that if I'm going to sell this and I'm selling it for the price point that I'm selling it at, I want to be able to tell you can carry those big water bottles that you pay $50, $60, $100 for. I want you to hold it. And I'm going to take her smaller cup holder and put it in the inside because cool, it's in the inside. And I still put an elastic thing in there for a bigger water bottle, whatever. I wanted to modernize it. Like it's not the same time as it was 5-10 years ago. Everyone
nobody had Stanleys then.
No one had that. So cool, you want that measurement, have both patterns. I know both designers. As long as you can show proof of both of them. The designer for the Andy, which is Tara, she said, cool, let me know if they have it, give them the measurements. Cool, I have no problem giving you the measurements.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate people that gatekeep. I also respect people that want to keep some things to themselves. I am there's only one thing that I gatekeep, and I don't even do it that often, and I've never really acknowledged it, but it's the one thing that I don't really answer questions about or give any tutorials about are my reels. It's the only thing that I like to keep for myself because I feel personally like I I feel like when it comes to all right, I'm going to come back to the reels in a second, but I feel like when it comes to like pattern techniques or whatever being copied, I feel like once that gets put out into the world, if it's a good technique, sure, I would love to get credit, but like it's better for everyone that it exists. If it works for you, use it. So I have a hard time feeling any type of way because I also think about like, oh, but like overlays and zipper plackets and things like that. Like those were once somebody's and they're no longer. Now it's an accepted universal technique that we all use. And I'm okay with at some point those techniques becoming that I have come up with becoming a part of the sewing world. And they have. Like the top of the rosy connector is used on so many slings. And I'm okay with that. I did see there was a designer who used a very, very similar rosy connector for the top. And at first I was like, that was mine. But then I was like, whatever, like it's fine. Like it truly didn't really bug me after like the first, and it's like a little pang of frustration and then it goes away. For me, the part that kind of stinks being copied is like when I create what feels like a piece of art that I put myself into, that I spent hours and hours on, that was a very unique original idea that I put my own spin on it and then it takes off in the world. And like, I'm okay with that. It hurts at first. And anyone that says the whole thing about like copying is the highest form of flattery, I'm going to say this loud and clear.
It's not.
Fuck off.
Oh,
It's
100%.
like, no, it's not. It's not flattery that you stole something that I worked really hard on and then you get to benefit from that. Like, I appreciate that you were inspired. Let it be an inspiration. Don't let it be something that you take. And if it is inspiration, then acknowledge it. Like a little bit of appreciation goes a long way. I'm not saying I need to get put on a pedestal. I am not saying that people need to come out and be like, thank you, Shannon, for having this great idea. But like, there comes a point in time where that idea that I had was I kind of hesitate to call it copying because that puts a really, really negative, like kind of selfish sort of tone on it. But I mean, what borrowing ideas, I'm not really sure how else to phrase it, but like it can spread like a wildfire and then people take that idea and then the next person sees the person who copied you and then it just continues on in a domino effect and then all of a sudden everyone in the world is doing this one technique that you worked so hard, it was so exciting, it's no longer yours, so there's like I want to just own something for a little bit, and so that's why I just let the reels part of it be mine because
No,
like
if I were you, I want to do it. I want to show you.
I have firmly said no to anyone because it was like, first of all, it's all right there for you to see. And there are people who have made valiant attempts to recreate what seems what my reels are. And I'm not saying they're the best thing out there, but they make me very happy. And so I want to keep them as mine. I'm not going to teach everyone else how to do them because it feels like the last bit of like true art that I have that is mine to keep. And it's not even that anymore. So it is tough. But anyway, when it comes to like designs and stuff, I think it is techniques are hard, shapes are hard. There's only so many shapes, only so many techniques, whatever else. But like when it comes to creating the art, which is what you do with so many of your bags, you have these awesome appliques, you add in like badges, you do so many very unique designs. And like, I guess that's what I was like, if you had experienced being copied on something you worked so freaking hard on, and then like kind of how you navigated that, or if you're just like, you know what, I did it, I'm fine, you can do it too, and like I'm not gonna get upset about it.
I guess I had a really I had a first. I want to address what you were saying about yours. First of all,
Okay.
your reels make me feel like the Super Bowl ads. Like, you know how everybody just watches them? I get super excited. It feels like getting told like what the summer movies are going to be like. Like I'm watching the next Jurassic Park reel. Like I am really get excited. And the reason why I think you shouldn't do it is because when I first was watching like the backstitch like photos, you were the first person I seen. I don't know if you're the first person ever, so if someone says no, someone else did this, blah blah blah, you were the first person I seen that had the bag on the spinning table, the spinning thing. And then everybody and their mother started using that, and then I was like, that takes away some of your shine and your glimmer when someone else takes your idea. And I hate that that happens. I know. I seen that too. Like that was one of my favorite things too. And then somebody else just takes it, and it's not fun because it's like when they do that, it's like I'm sharing part of who I am, but then you're trying to take the part that I'm sharing. It's
Right.
like,
You're pulling away the thing that makes me unique, and that's
yeah,
what I want. That's why I'm doing this. I'm making
I
my
get,
own individual pieces. So I get it.
yeah. So that, and that's what I remember. Like when I would do see backstitch, is that like everyone has their own thing. Like when I think like Amy
Think about
from Bed,
Yoshi.
yeah,
Like Yoshi's and Amy
yeah.
and Andrea
Yeah,
Graham. Like
Amy has like this amazing table set up. Like I can't
yeah,
explain it.
Amy
Like
Hutton.
unless,
For those that
yeah,
don't know, Bed Hog
yeah,
Shop.
bad hog. She has this amazing table set up, and no matter where she takes a picture of it, like it is this amazing clean cut. Like you kind of want to eat at the table and maybe mess it up because it's so
Yeah, it's
amazingly
like
clean. Like
perfect lighting. It's
yeah,
really wonderful.
it's like the best pictures ever. And I'm like, hey, Amy, one day I'm just gonna go over there and just spill something because she doesn't live. She lives in the Delmarva area too. And Amy is by far the most sweetest person ever. Like I'll be like, Amy, I'm missing something. Do you have something? Because we could send something to each other and it'll be at each other's house in like one day because we
Yeah.
live very close to each other. But I could tell Amy photo like a mile away. She just, the way
Yeah.
she brings it in, like the background is kind of not a blur, but slightly a blur. And
Yeah.
her bag is hyper focused in. And I see some people trying to do her pictures. I'm like, you can't do like an Amy picture. Amy only could do an Amy picture. And like, it takes it away. Like, there's enough different things out there for all of us to figure out what makes us unique. When you have to take somebody else's shine, you got to figure out why. You have to look at yourself and be like, why am I not shiny? And if you have to take someone else's shine to make you shiny, like that's some bigger things you got to talk about in therapy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what is going on with you where you have
Yeah.
to take somebody else's idea?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so when I first started sharing my stuff in the sewing world, nobody else had a dark gray background with a white base for their photography setup. There's even designers who now do that, and like that's the cover of their pattern, and like it's hard because it's like, oh, it's such a simple setup, and like I know that's why I chose it, that's why I started doing it. Like it helps balance colors out really well because you have a pre-made contrast. Like, and now I'm just at the point where it's like I've tried to do different backdrops. I've tried to do, but I don't have the setup to change what I have. I've made my setup what works with the small amount of space that I have to work with. And it is frustrating. It's frustrating. I've had people on a lot of aspects of my career have been replicated by other people. And like, I'm not this biggest name in our community, you know, like I'm just little old me, but I've always made it a point to be extremely unique in every aspect that I can. And so it does hurt and it stings. And I've learned that all I have to do is complain to my friends about it for like 2 days and then I'm okay. I move on with my life and I forget that it ever happened.
Yeah.
But I just, like I said, I didn't know if for you, like you had to navigate that on a personal level because you do make such unique bags.
I actually have a story. This person's going to remain nameless because they're in our bag communities.
Let's buckle in, guys.
So how I got introduced to the bag community and realizing there are people out there that are not your friends, that are never going to be your friends, and that are interesting. So I started making bags, and about 2 years into making bags, I felt good enough to do like shows. So I went into Artist Alley. I did Harry Potter Harry Potter Comic Con in Baltimore, and it was really fun. That was one of the funnest. I didn't have a lot of bags. I was so silly because I think I only brought 30 or 40. And I practically sold out the first day, and it wasn't my best work. When I look back at that, I'm like, damn, these people really supported me, and it wasn't that great. My quilts, they sold too, but those were good because I've been, quilting for a little while. Then I did the Doctor Who convention, and that was good too. Not knowing that there was somebody else that was selling bags there, because when I go to these conventions, I never look at anybody else because
Right.
I'm in my own world. I don't think of people as competition. I think of people as just another person that likes the same kind of art as I do. I feel like when you if you're at Comic Cons and you're an artist, if you're just looking at other people's artwork, you're like kind of taken away from your art. Like, cause you can start saying, oh, they have better color, or like their cardstock
Right.
or whatever. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
you should never do
comparison
that.
sickness starts up.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like comparison is like the
thief of
gate,
joy, or what
the
did they
joy, the
say?
thief of joy. Yeah. Like it's a
Yeah.
thief of joy completely. So I never do that. Like, I feel like my POV is different from most people. Like I
Right.
do things because of the way I like it. So my first Awesome Con, I was sharing a table with my friend Ariel. And she's an author. And this is how like little I am sharing a booth with a artist. So I have half of a table that's an 8-foot table. I have 4 feet. And she has 4 feet. We're sharing a hotel room. We're sharing everything because the cost.
Right.
I had, and Ariel can attest to this because we still talk about this. I went to the restroom and I had someone come up to the booth, and I wasn't there, and Ariel like would try to sell my bags just like I would sell her books if she went to the restroom. So she sits down, and like we were tattooing each other with pins like Death Stars, like we were doing like sleeves of Star Wars. Yeah. She has ADHD too. So we were like, who can come up with the best sleeve? And because we found it got deep. There's pictures of this too. Anyways, so she was like, Shaneova, someone came up to the booth and looked through every single last one of your bags. Like, she was like, they went and they looked in the inside. They were rolling to see your seams, trying to find your birthing hole, because like her mom sews, Ariel's mom sews, and she sews costumes, so she dabbles with a little bit of bags and stuff like that. She was like, it was just really weird. She's like, I called my mom, and she was like, her mom was like, she has to sew. That like the woman that had seen that had to sew. So later on that day, someone came up and was like, you need to start making more bowler bags because bowler bags are in. And she bought my Wakanda bag or whatever. And I was like, was it her? She was like, no, this person has like a very signature color hair, but I'm not going to do this because you guys will know who this person is if I say it. So I just let it go. A couple years later, I had the same experience where this person keeps coming to my booth or inviting her friends to come to my booth to get price points or asking for a custom bag and try to get price points. And then they'll try to tell me what my price point should be. And every year they're friends, and they're the same friends. And the thing is just like you said, Shaneova, your memory, like, how do you remember all these things? This is the same thing. My superpower for my dyslexia and my ADHD is I don't forget a face, and I don't forget exactly our conversation. And they will come up and do the same thing each year, but I see them every year with this particular person doing pictures and everything. I know who they are, but they are basically checking out my booth, checking out my bags, and how much my price points are.
Scouting.
Yeah, scouting every single year. And then if there's something in particular, and if there's something,
it's like that thing. Why are you so obsessed with me? Like,
it is. It's a very weird thing. And the thing is that when I never like confronted them, I felt like there's no need, but like it's a very interesting thing. It's annoying. It's more annoying because it's like, why? Just why? And it's
yeah.
And
have you ever considered confronting them?
No, because I feel they're the type of person that will make a big stink about it on on Facebook or whatever, and then it'll be their
Remember,
word.
Nova, the way that we feel about Olivia, people feel about you. We ride at dawn.
We write it down. Well, but the thing is that it's their word against mine. And again, I with being dyslexia, I will stumble over word, and sometimes I feel like it's like a showdown, like who could type out what the fastest, and I will start fumbling. But it's been something that's been going on for many, many years. And they are a person that is active in our sewing world. So it just, I, and
I'm gonna get to learn. I
no,
can't
and
wait.
and what's crazy is that I'm not the only one they have done this to.
That's crazy.
There is other people that I've met in that are in the Maryland area, and then they are bag makers, and we have booths right across each other, and we were like high five. Like if they went to the restroom, I will mandate their booth, and it'll be like, your bags are the bomb, da da da, and sell. And they told me their bad experience with this bag maker too. And I was like,
Wow.
holy crap. I was like, I thought it wasn't me, but
All right. So what we learned from this, all right, if you have two goals in life, it should be to be more like Nova and less like this other person. Okay? So if that's all you needed to be on the straight and narrow, please know that like don't do that. Like Nico said this kind of as a follow-up to her interviews, a rising tide raises all ships. And I do believe I think that I've said this before, natural competition is healthy, right? It strives us to be better, like we want to achieve levels that other people are achieving, and that's okay. But like, you don't have to take or attempt to take anyone down a notch. You don't need to try and scout all their techniques, all their like how they're doing their business. Like just focus on yourself, like keep your head down. All these people find so many things that they like about my work. My head is down. I am focusing on myself, on what I want to do, on what my standards are, my priorities are. And that pushes me to be better. It will push you to be better too. Like don't go and do shady stuff like that. Like it's
the
not
thing that
necessary.
the thing that's crazy, hand over fist, she's a better bag maker than I am. Hand over fist. Her bags are exquisite, like absolutely exquisite. And I think that's the part that drives me nuts, is like her work is top tier, but her personality is not.
Well, I am sorry that all that happened because again, like people just be good people. That's all you have to do. But this next part we're going to talk about, I want to just make it be known that I'm trying my best to not make an ass out of myself, but I also think that this is an important subject to talk about, and I got permission from Chanova at the beginning before we even started recording to ask this question because of course she didn't want to see the questions. So, just so you all know. But so in our community, I don't want to say the primary, but the larger demographic that is in our community tends to be middle-aged white women, right? So ages ranging from 30 to 60 or so. That's what's most represented. That's what you see of most of who's out there. Not to say that there aren't people of color and there aren't people from other demographics and there aren't other genders, but that is what you see the most of in our community. And so you are a person of color. And so what I wanted to kind of do is give you the platform in which you can speak about your experience being a person of color, where you maybe see some shortcomings, where you see some successes and what you would like to see, or you can just like talk about it. But I think that it's an important subject, and obviously it's impossible for me as a white person to understand fully how that is. And so I think that again, since that's the larger demographic that we have in our community, it'd be great for you to share your story and your perspective of that with the larger demographic that's going to be listening and watching this. So anyway, I'm going to give you the floor and again, try not to make an ass of myself.
You're not making an ass of yourself at all. The way I look at it is when you look at YouTube as a whole, or like any social media platform, you have a tendency of following people that represent and look like you.
Right.
So the problem I face sometimes, it could be just in my head, or when I talk to other people of color, or when I talk to family members or friends that I have friends that are YouTubers, but they don't sew, or
Hmm.
is that, like, if I was doing like a curly hair channel, for example, they're like, you probably already would have been in the hundreds of thousands, or if I was doing curly hair routines, because people will be coming to me with curly hair. You know, they want to
Hmm.
see
Right.
the girl with the curly hair and how I do my hair routines, right?
Hmm.
Um, but because mm, the demographics, kind of like you said, are from 30 to 60, and they're more Caucasian persuasion. Sometimes I feel that that can be at a disadvantage, and I have to work. Um, I feel like I have to work a little bit differently, and I feel like I sometimes have to be super mindful of what I say or do, because I'm not the person that you reflect and you see in the mirror on a day-to-day
Hmm.
basis. Because realistically, people follow people that look like themselves in the mirror.
Right.
So
People
it's,
like to be represented.
yeah. So, like, for me, I feel that I would like to see a more diverse background. I know it's going to take time, and I feel like it is a little bit harder. I feel like it's getting better each year. Um, there are times that I feel that race can play, race, ethnicity, nationality can play a huge part in any career, like any career
Hmm.
you have.
Yeah.
But when you're in front of the camera every single day, it's something that you evaluate every single day. Like, do I feel like someone isn't following me because I look like XYZ? Are they think, like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes if I'm not happy all the time, they're going to be like, she's the angry black woman. I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like if I feel like I have to be sometimes happy all the time, even if I'm sad, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense, and that makes me sad for you.
So sometimes, most of the time, I am happy all the time, but there's sometimes that
Yeah.
I'm not. And those days that
Yeah.
I'm not, I usually sometimes don't do captain's log, or so that way I am not breaking down on camera, or if I know that maybe I can't control my emotions those days. Um, but yeah, that the way when I talk to other friends, it's funny because the first thing they said is like, "Man, if you just did a hair channel, you already would have had like 1 million followers." And I'm like, "Okay." And even my mom said that, and I'm like, "But that's not it, as much as I love doing my hair and my nails, that's not what my passion and my dreams are. I love sewing, and I love teaching people how to learn new things. I love teaching people how to do tricks and tips that maybe you can't get from anyone else. And maybe my little quirky personality can help you get through a hump that you didn't think you can get by.
Hmm.
And maybe, just maybe, that my having ADHD or being dyslexia, you can relate to on some kind of level. And you're like, okay, because of this girl, because of this chick, I can now sew this bag.
Hmm.
Um, but there's sometimes I believe that I don't get seen because it's not what people want to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do feel that. And in 2026, I made a goal to stop. I don't want to say victimizing myself, but sometimes I put that, like, I will play in my head, it's because of this, because of this. I'm starting to put myself out there more. I started applying for teaching spots at local quilt stores and stuff like that to
Just
teach
gonna
bags.
ask if you had been doing that.
Yeah, so
That'd be great.
I'm starting to do that. To, like, the only way that the cycle can break is if you break it yourself.
Yeah.
And
You gotta
just,
do the damn thing.
you got to do it, right? So I'm trying to break that, and maybe if people start seeing you more in person, that you'll start getting different followings and go on from there. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's sometimes hard. I feel like it it's a difficult subject because it's sometimes some people don't see, some people say I don't see color, I don't see color at all, and then you're secretly giggling at them because you're like, if you don't see color, then how the hell do you see me? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not, I am a person of color. So
Hmm.
um but sometimes it really is that simple. um because when you start bringing in people of color, when you start bringing in nationality, ethnicities, or anything, people automatically are like, I don't want to get into politics, religion, or whatever.
Hmm.
And that's basically what our whole world is right now.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and so like it gets to become a touchy subject, and people want to evade it like with everything they have. And trust me, I do too. I like
I mean, it's not easy to have these conversations,
yeah.
especially when it's between two people that are on completely different sides of it. Like I, I don't want to say that it was hard for me to ask you this question. It is hard for me to enter in a conversation where I acknowledge and understand how little I know, because I don't want to misrepresent you. I don't want to take away from you. And I mean, the challenge, if you can hear the printer, I'm sorry. Alex is printing something. This is why he's not supposed to be home during an interview.
I don't actually hear
Um,
the printer at all.
I do. I do.
You're like,
But like
yeah.
I don't want, yeah, the challenge is allow as signing up for a conversation where I'm going to learn on the spot, where I'm going to be put in my place, rightfully so, where I'm putting myself in a very vulnerable situation, but that's okay, because it's okay to learn, and it's okay to to hear things from other people's perspectives. But it's important. It's important, and I I don't know. I felt like I really wanted you to have the moment to kind of talk about that, because you have touched so many different parts of the community, and I'm sure that you've experienced various levels of discrimination. I am sure that you have had to deal with things like that, and I'm sure that it hasn't really been fun. And I'm sure there are other parts that have been super, like, where that's not even a problem at all, and you would just celebrate it for who you are, and I love that. And yeah, so like I said, I can understand why some people would be afraid of it, because nobody wants to sign up to get put on the spot, but I'm never afraid to have a hard conversation, and I'm never afraid to learn, and I think that there's always a time to involve inclusivity in the conversation.
And for me also, because of people knowing me for testing and stuff, there's a lot of people that sometimes when they ask me to test, I say no, I'm not available. But if there is a new designer and I know they're a person of color, chances are I'm going to test, because if I'm able to lift my voice and help somebody else that is a person of color, I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
So there are things that I know that I have doors open to me because of working hard. So
Yeah.
I'm going to like try to use whatever little powers I have to help bring somebody else up um into this world, because the only way we can get this pool diversified is if there's more people in it. So that's the only thing I want to see more of, is just seeing more of just not just more of everything, every color of the rainbow, and
Yeah.
also more genders. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
when I got to sew a pattern tester for a gentleman, I was like, yes, oh my god, yes! Like it was amazing. I was like, you're a unicorn, sir. We must protect you. So
I
like
have what I assume to be a male gender Patreon subscriber, and I am just so tickled. So Greg H, thank you for being here. Like it makes me so happy. I get an email from this guy, Mike K. I won't release his full name without his permission, but he has been sewing up Tuesday totes, and like he sent me so many emails, and he's like, you know, uh, he's like, I don't know how many. I was like, believe me, I remember you. There aren't too many of you.
you're
You
you're a
know, I want
unicorn,
to
sir.
see more of them. It's so heartening. It warms my heart when you get to see our demographic expand.
Yes.
Um, um, I want that diversity, like
Exactly. It's not a
it
bad thing. It's just like
it's a wonderful
cool
thing.
thing. Yeah. It's just like watching like my favorite thing ever, and I miss it so much because my kids are I have a 20-year-old, a 15 about to be 16-year-old, and a 13-year-old about to be 14-year-old. But my favorite thing is when my son was younger and I loved taking him to the park. And when you would just see kids just play with each other, they don't care about if it's a boy or a girl. They don't
Mhm.
care if it's a person that's Asian or
Mhm.
Latin, or they don't care. They just want to play. And I'm like,
Yeah.
when did we lose that?
Yeah. I think that's the only time the term "I don't see color" is appropriate is
Yeah,
in
because
children, because 'cause they're just
when
like, "Another kid I can play with, new best friend,
yes,
thank
they
you.
want to play.
Let's
You
go."
best friend. Yeah, and they just want to play. When did we lose that?
Yeah.
And then I said
Mhm.
something to Chris from Simply Classic about like she asked me about modifications, and it's the same thing. When I see a pattern, it's similar to like how I felt as a child. It's my imagination goes wild, and
Mm.
there's something that we lost as a kid, that the sense of like trying
Play.
something new and playing and it being okay, and it's okay to make mistakes because these mistakes make you greater. Like it teaches you something that I feel that as sewists, we need to go back at like to being a child and just
Mhm.
remember the fun and the joy of it. And it's okay to allow different people in because it can make us better sewists. By allowing someone different in, they may be able to show you a new technique that may change the revolutionary of sewing altogether by just allowing someone else in that's a little bit different from you. So
Absolutely.
you never know. And the thing that is interesting is that most of the clothes that we're wearing right now are not even sewn by anybody that is what we
Mhm.
see in the mirror. So
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I'll just allow it to happen. Just allow it to happen
Right, just
and
embrace it.
embrace it and support it, because by supporting it, that means that you're welcoming it, and that means that people won't be afraid to be like, hi, I want to be a part of this, you know?
Right. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
definitely.
Well, thank you. Okay, so you mentioned before, teaching and you want to try and reach out and so you have taught in this is not as elegant of a segue. I'm sorry.
You're like,
Um
you
got one
got
more
this.
question. Oh, you didn't make it easy for me this time, Nova. Thank you.
I'm so
Sorry.
sorry. I didn't. I've taught in a
um,
couple places. Couple places there. That was the segue.
all right.
Couple.
Yeah, I had to pull it out of somewhere. Um, but so you want to teach, you have taught, and like that's kind of where you found yourself here in our sewing community now, is that like you get to reach all these other people through the idea that you're sharing knowledge, either through pre-recorded tutorials, through live sews, or through in-person teaching, and through your Patreon as well.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to teaching, and uh, did you intend to find yourself there, or was this like you feel like it was a natural progression
I
of like just your journey?
I thought it was a natural progression until the first Wizardly Stitchery. Um, Melissa is the best, so she's watching this. She's gonna probably laugh. Like I taught, you were there for my first one. I taught, and everything went great. And then after I got done teaching, I went back into my room and I had a total meltdown and I started crying. It was such a high.
It's
I didn't.
overwhelming.
It was overwhelming that I could not stop crying. Melissa came into the room. She came back out of the room, got ice cream because there was an ice cream social. Wizardly Stitchery is literally the best thing in the world. Okay, came back, ate ice cream with me, and just kept patting me on the back. And she was like, "Everybody was listening to you. It wasn't bad. It wasn't that. I never. I didn't. I think I found out what I was actually good at, and I
Mm.
didn't know I was actually good. I thought because because of ADHD and because of dyslexia that nobody would ever take me serious as a teacher, and everybody was quiet and watching me and learning and doing what I was telling them to do. And it was such a great, everyone was done with their bags, and it was such a great class that I cried. And I'm not like I don't cry over everything. I consider myself like a Stonewall Jackson. I'm just like,
Not me,
and like,
man. You give me
I was
one
like,
note of one song or 2 seconds of one commercial, and
I'd be
I'm
like,
already teared up.
I was like, damn. And I was like, I'm good. And like, it's like Melissa's heart knew something or whatever. She's like, everybody loved you. You're so good.
Mhm.
And I was like, I can't do it. And I actually cried at a little bit too the first day at So Whatever Studios. I wasn't prepared for that. And yeah. I think it was good tears. Like, so this is not saying
Mhm.
don't try teaching, guys. It's just that if you're a person that wanted to try teaching and then it went well, it might be an emotion that you have, and tears are not for bad things. Like, you could cry at someone's wedding or a birth of a child. This was like my first time crying like happy tears. Like,
Mhm.
my kids came, I was like, this is the best thing, sniff their head, but no tears. Like, I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, I was on cloud 9, but I cried because
Mhm.
it was like a runner's high. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
It was That's
Yeah.
the best way. It was like so much adrenaline, and then it just dropped.
Yeah.
And yeah, I found out that I like to teach. I mean, I taught on YouTube, but I don't see you. I can't see your mannerisms. I can't see
Mhm.
your hands
Yeah.
up. None of that. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it's
could
different. It's different in person too, because
it's
it's one thing to teach to a camera. It's another thing to teach to people when you're watching their progress, when you're watching their frustration, when you're watching their mistakes, because you take on that responsibility in person. And it's not just one human, it is many humans.
yeah.
So it can be very overwhelming. It can be very rewarding as well.
Yes.
Um, the last episode I talk about how even when I did tips and tricks, I think for the one that you were at, when I left, when I got done with it, I went and had it like every single one of my classes. So there was the first class I taught, I had to leave for like, no, I think it might have been for the Aries. When I taught the Aries, I had to leave for like 15 minutes, call Alex and have my anxiety attack with him on the phone, compiled myself, went back in and finished teaching. Like for me, it's an anxiety attack because I have held it off, because I had panicked time after time after time throughout the teaching, and then it's overwhelming, and then I have a lot of self-imposed guilt that is unnecessary. So like then I'm like, that furthers the panic. And so it's just, and I have performance anxiety, so like that's really bad for me to like feel like I'm failing in the midst of having to continue on. So it is really tough. It can be very rewarding. And yeah, I like, opposite of you, I don't think that teaching in person is for me. I think I can write patterns all day. I'll teach you through a video tutorial. I'll teach you through typing because I have the opportunity to make it be what I want it to be. In person, though, too much of it gets in my head. And so I don't think that teaching in person is something that I was meant to do. I think that teaching is, just not through that method. But that was one of my questions with the segues, Nova, was which of the formats is your preferred teaching method? And
Oh,
and I mean,
I
I
would
guess
have
you'll
if I was able to teach in person all the time, I would. But then I like YouTube Live. I can never write. Like, I'm not a wordsmith. Like, I think like you and Alexis from Ora Rosa, if we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, you guys would still be on my team because you guys are wordsmiths. Like, I don't understand how you guys can just do that. I'm like, oh my God, it's like a secret skill that I've always wanted to have. Like, I bet your guys' essays were like on point. Like, or if you were in,
I love to write.
I
I
bet,
love it.
no, I could tell. Like, it is a skill set that I've always wanted to acquire. Like, I think big, long essays in my head, but getting them on paper, oh God, I have imposter syndrome. It will never happen.
Man,
Like,
let me just type it and retype it 5 times and you'll get the best thing ever. But let me say it in person and I'm certain I said the wrong thing or the wrong words that don't even make that sentence. Like, they don't belong there, but they came out of my mouth somehow. And then I will say, about 40 million times in whatever it is that I'm saying. So we all have our strengths for sure.
Oh no,
I
like
I
seriously, between your videos, okay, so like if I you have a reel coming out, I have to get myself comfy because I'm gonna watch it twice. Two, if you have a post, I know it's gonna be a post that I'm gonna scroll, so I'm
it's a
gonna be
book.
like, I'm
It's a
about to
book.
sit down and do it. But the same thing, that's the same thing with Alexis. Alexis writes, like if you two guys ever wrote something to each other, I would be like, this is gonna be the next Hemingway. I know it's going to be something. It's going to be something epic because
uh,
you guys write very like well. Like it's not just like words and everything's grammar, everything's correct. It's
mhm.
like when you're reading the words, you can feel the emotion behind it. It's
Yeah,
not,
it's tone.
it's a whole different thing. Like I'm like, yes, I'm excited about this. I don't know what I'm about to read, but I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
excited. So like, and
Mhm.
I actually appreciate your posts very much. Like I appreciate your patterns. So like, I don't know.
Thank you.
It's a very like it's a skill. Like not everybody has that. It's like if somebody was
I do.
taken, you could be like, my skill set is writing.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I call them book posts, but it's kind of like a post that's in blog form, but it's just in the Facebook group, and
Mhm.
I always get taken aback by how many people read them. I know a lot of people don't read them, and that's okay too. I understand it. Not everybody wants to read like a little mini article that I wrote about what's going on, but like I I find I find joy in sharing the full picture of what I'm talking about. And like, I like to over explain. I like for you to understand what my headspace is while I'm telling you these things, what my plans are. I like the whole picture. Um, that's why I could never write a book because holy shit, it would be longer than any of George R. R. Martin's. You know it. Um,
We'll be like the White Walkers continuously.
Guaranteed, guaranteed. But, I appreciate that, and you just don't see that very often, and on social media at all. It's all short clips, targeted ideas and things like that, and I really think that social media as a whole, like, somebody put this down on paper so that it is recorded that Shannon said this, that I think over the next 10 years, the inauthenticity of social media is going to go away and people are really striving for that not so curated feed that or like where they have more control over their own curation and they're seeing more authentic things, and I think that there's a level of authenticity that comes out when somebody like Alexis or myself just really sits down and types the shit out, like
Yeah.
we share our thought process, we share those things, and that I value it, which is why I do it. I tend to do things that I value and then hope that other people like them too. And if not, well, it's just not for you. But like that's why I make my reels and my patterns the way I do because it's my preferences. Um, but
I
yeah,
think I think people are the way I think of it now is I think people are starting to wake up.
yeah,
I think because like I think when I watch people even in reels, people are no longer doing like one sentence comments. They're starting to do paragraphs because they're not believing everything. And I think what started to wake people up, I hate to say it, was AI. People are so against
yeah,
AI
I totally agree.
and they're just they want it to be known. And I
Right.
think the more people they're trying to press it onto people, because I even see it in the sewing world so much. Like there are debates even in testing teams when people are using AI for like their bags, like having fake models hold their bag and stuff like that, where people are like, no, you shouldn't do it. There's debates within teams like you shouldn't do this because you're now giving them the license to use your bag as property. Da 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 da. There's debates within that, and uh, within that, and it's waking people up. Like people are like, I don't want to do that. There's even groups of people like doing AI like figurines that they take their picture and they get scanned and now they have like a sewing
Yeah.
emoji with them with a machine. Like people are waking up and they're trying to explain to other people like, no, you're
Yeah.
you shouldn't be doing this. And like
Yeah.
you sit back and you're watching on Facebook and you're like, wait, people are starting to wake up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Like, we do have a guest on in the future that does use AI quite a bit, and so I am looking forward to that conversation just to just talk about it.
Yeah.
Like you use it? What's your thought process behind it? How do you feel about it? And like, I'm not trying to get into debate, but I think
Yeah.
it's a conversation that has a space in our
Yeah.
community that
There
doesn't happen that
Yeah, there are
often.
people on both sides. Like in the
Yeah.
testing teams, I'm just watching because I can see the pros and cons to both sides.
Right.
Like,
Right.
if
Right.
especially if you're testing and the designer saying that they want a picture on a body or they want more professional looking photos. I'm not going to lie. Some of these photos with the AI models and or like situations where
Yeah.
it looks like someone's getting coffee or whatever, it makes the bag look great. And there are a lot of designers that I see that their cover photos are with the AI model. But with that being said, there is a messenger bag from a designer that, and I knew better. This is my fault. That is on a mail. It is presented as a mail bag. And it on the mail, it covers his whole entire hip and his thigh. So you're thinking this is a nice size messenger bag, at least the size that can cover a tablet. When you make the bag does not even, it couldn't even fit two iPhones side by side. But because of the picture on the cover of the bag, it looks like it can hold a tablet or at least a Chromebook. And if you look, you have to look at the measurements on the cover when it says it's
Yeah.
like 9 inches by 8 inches wide. And you're just like, wait a minute, but why? Either that is a hobbit in a rare form where
Yeah.
he's dressing in human clothes, and
Yeah.
what is going on here? And or we have to start acknowledging maybe that we need to put AI photo or something like that because it
Yeah.
looks like a David Beckham Hobbit photo, and you're just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And I
And like
actually,
they're getting better. They're getting better and better and better. Like it's harder and harder. You can still pick out which ones are AI, but they are
yeah,
getting harder. It's harder to do that. And yeah, it's hard to make a stance because we're also so early in the
yeah,
AI kind of generation that we're in. But I mean, you can tell it's already being used and abused throughout a lot of the sewing world and every world, every part of the world. I mean, like, look at the Super Bowl ads this year.
yeah. I
How
know
many of them were AI?
a
I
lot.
mean, a significant amount, you
And
know?
and for me, I
Um,
should have just went to the site, looked at the pattern, and looked at the measurements. I am too well
yeah,
versed not to look at the measurements. That is my fault.
yeah.
And if I looked at the measurements, I most likely wouldn't have bought the bag. But
But you also would have assumed that the designer would have done their due diligence to make sure that the bag is accurately represented if they are using AI as a modeled photo.
the guy looks like David Beckham. Okay, the guy looks exactly in like a white button down shirt that's open and like rolling grass hills behind him. And he's like kind of in the 3/4 shot, like the shot that every
Uh-huh,
model
uh-huh.
does. And he has the crossbody. It's not, it doesn't even look like an Indiana Jones bag. It looks like it's covering his whole entire body. And you're just like, finally, someone made a messenger bag that's geared more towards males. And you're like, this is like epic. Cool. I'm going to make this for my husband. And you're like, my husband is not wearing this fanny pack. He's going to be like, I can't wear this to work. It
Yeah,
doesn't hold my computer. What is
right,
going on?
right.
What's
I feel
going
like
on?
if you're a designer that's going to allow some of your testers or yourself to utilize AI to create the image of a model wearing your bag, then you need to compensate that with an actual real life picture of somebody modeling the bag. You need to balance that if that's what you're going to do. I don't have any intention of doing that myself, of like using AI for modeled photos. I don't model my own bags. I just have testers on who are always willing to model. Sorry for that. So
I'm pretty sure
we'll
there has
see.
to be like something you could do with AI. Well, maybe that could be an AI question. Is there like parameters like can you say I need a 6 foot model or a plus size model or
I'm
can you
sure
put
there are. Yeah.
yeah, like are you able to put like weight parameters so that way that you can
Hmm.
successfully have a bag modeled correctly with
Hmm.
an AI model like that?
Yeah.
That would be a good question to that person because if you are, then that opens up the world to more possibilities. If there isn't, then there's time and more hiccups that can be worked out because that to me, I remember because I went and showed the paper to everyone, and then when I showed the bag on Captain's log, they were like, "What?" in that. And I was like, this is the David Beckham not bag, messenger bag. It is a fanny bag. It's
No.
more, it turned out more like Indiana Jones satchel than a messenger bag.
Wow.
I was really upset about that.
Wow. Well, yeah, again, the AI conversation is tough, and I see the pros and cons to it
Yeah.
as well. And we're also it's still as advanced as it is, it's still early in its development.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things where it is a very political thing that people talk about. And like I said, there are pros and cons to it, and we all have our own journey with it too. But I think there definitely needs to be a balance with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure when the sewing world's going to find that, either before it gets too much on the other side, or hopefully before then. But I suppose we'll find out. Okay, so last question. Before we get to the final press pass, what do you have planned for the rest of 2026? What things are you looking forward to this year?
Well, I have the Sew Whatever. I'm going to be teaching the Willow Woven, which is like last year's the most like bag I liked for the Ora Rosa. And I'm going to be doing like a couple Bianni classes and just small little places I'm going to be teaching at. And then I'm doing a couple different cons. I have one this month, and I have a few in June and July. So I'm pretty excited. And I have my books pretty much open to see what else falls into my lap between now and then. But just continue to do videos and continue to do Patreon at this point. But
Okay.
I'm
Keep on keeping
applying.
on.
Yeah, I'm applying.
All right. So that brings us to the final press pass.
Mhm.
And so the first question is from Laurel. And she says, I would love to know where she gets the most inspiration for her work. She makes such beautiful things, and it seems like her creativity never runs out.
Oh, thank you. I think I get my inspiration from everything. My room is chaos right now because I'm getting ready for a con and I have like 12 days left. But I get inspiration from everything, from things that I'm reading to watching like Games of Thrones or reading a book or anything and everything. Sometimes it could just be the pattern itself. Like somebody can come out with a new pattern and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, that would be the coolest Captain America bag ever. And run with it and I'll start drawing and going from it. And I am a sketcher. So I'm not like my brother or even like my daughter. They could full-fledged on draw. I can sketch and doodle though. And then from there I can just start creating. It just depends on what I'm looking at and I'll just go for it. But my room has a lot of inspiration because when in my basement there is like the switchboards, like all the motherboards for the house, but it's also where like the gas line and everything is. So whenever we have to get something fixed, the person has to come through my workroom every time, whether male, woman, child, whoever comes in here, they freak out over my room. They're like, can I play with the lightsaber? Can I play with the wands? Can I play with, because like I have so much inspiration in here that I can just look at something for a small period of time and then I can just run with it. I'm a big child.
That's awesome. Well, you create this environment that is just itself very inspirational. And, if you're touching on kind of the same group of fandoms that you obviously love, then you have that in your environment. And so it can be easy to source from. I could totally picture that. That's good, though. I mean, it's really, before we started recording, I was talking about how I just don't like sewing outside of my space, and it's like the same thing. Like for me, it's just like I need to be in my environment. That's where most of my inspiration, that in the shower, that's where mine come from.
Actually, weirdly, no, seriously, that's how I came up with the labyrinth bag. I was, because it's its 40th anniversary, right? Because I was like 4 when it came out. I have like all these toys. I have like the Wild Things and Ludo and whatever, but I was singing David Bowie's song and then I was like, I'm going to make this labyrinth bag, but I think I'm going to do it this way. And my husband comes by and he's like, who are you talking to in the shower? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It
Mind your
doesn't
own
have
business.
just whatever. Like, but the shower, yeah, because like you are unwinding and you're relaxing, so
Yeah.
like you get flooded with ideas.
Yeah. It,
But
it's a whole like thing about it if you ever research it about like that boredom, forcing yourself to be bored. Triggers your brain into a creativity mode. Your mind starts to wander, and so doing a monotonous task or like for my sons, when unless we're on a long trip, my son is not allowed to have a screen in the car because we forced that poor child to be bored. And
mhm.
that's where all those random questions come from, where he's like, what about this, what about that, what about this, and like all of a sudden he knows, and he's an expert in all things traffic, and like, oh, this guy, it's like
He's
childish.
like, he'd be
uh,
like, he didn't use his left hand to flip. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
but like, so if you can, that's why when I say I am problem solving and I haven't figured out the solution yet, I call them brain showers. So I'll go and I'll just take a shower in the middle of the day,
Mhm.
and it will force my mind to wander. Like I'll force myself to think about it, and then I keep thinking about it, keep thinking about it. And then I've wandered enough to where creativity comes into play, and then I get to I think of a new idea. And so it's really important to have that sort of um that play time, that like downtime, to let your mind just go down different paths maybe it wouldn't have with such a targeted approach. So it's like brainstorming, essentially. I'm a huge advocate for it. As you see, we forced our child. Poor kid.
I have a dream journal for that too reason too, because sometimes I'll think of something in the middle of the night and I'll doodle it, and then I'll wake up in the morning and be like, yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. It's just a
I
pen and
have
a
no
journal.
self-discipline for that while I'm sleeping. Ain't no way.
Oh my,
Ain't
because
no.
I'm the like the world's lightest, like the world's lightest sleeper, and my husband is the heaviest sleeper in the world. I've challenged him to Mortal Kombat because he has woke me up from like the slightest thing so many times. But like something will come to me, I'll wake up, I'll doodle it down, and then I'll go to
I
sleep.
I envy people who can do dream journals. I am a all night, every night dreamer, very active dreamer, and I can probably remember them. Like I can get up, go pee, and then go back to sleep and continue my dream. Or I can
Mhm.
like force myself out of a scary dream, like the lucid dreaming thing. But
Oh
for
my God. Yeah.
me, I cannot wake up and do a journal. I can't do it enough. I'm not altogether there enough when I wake up
Yeah.
in the middle of the night. I'm still dreaming.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm the lightest sleeper in the world, and it's because my husband, he's the worst sleeper. And he's just the worst sleeper. He'll steal blankets, and like I'm like, I challenge you to Mortal Kombat, and he just
Mm,
doesn't, you know. Yeah.
yeah.
The worst. The
There's
worst.
always one, and then there's always one on either side of the spectrum for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay, Jessica asks, what is her artistic process for hacking and adding appliques to her makeup?
So, like, if let's say I'm doing like a Captain America bag. So if I'm doing that, what I'll do is I'll probably take some screenshots of like whatever movie I'm going to do. I'm going to do the first movie because that's classic. I'm going to do get some pictures of Steve Rogers' like chest shots, and then I'm going to start drawing out his his armor. And then
Hmm.
from there, I'm going to see what I can stitch. I'm going to use a white pen or a white silver pen, and I'm going to draw muscles. And from there, I'm going to start like combining fleece and foam. And I'm going to kind of like pack like muscles in, make this
Yeah,
quilt look like muscles. And then I'm going to
yeah.
draw the star. And I'm going to go from there, and I'm going to start slowly creating his armor. And then he has these belts that hold his, weaponry. So I'm going to use the brown, and I'm going to contrast this. And I'm all along, I'm going to be drawing on a piece of paper and then taking this paper and creating it onto this blue vinyl.
Hmm.
And just, I'm going to like slowly start doing that. Now, if I am thinking if I'm going to make I made the Johnny B into it looked like a military bag where somebody went to different places all over Star Wars and got
Hmm.
patches. I went on Amazon, not Amazon, I went on Etsy, and I started looking up really cool patches that other people have made. And I bought different patches from different companies. And then I also made some patches myself. And put them in strategic places, and then I figured out how I can do weathering for different parts of the bag to make it look great. And then I did really cool grommet treatments and laced it up the bag to make it look like how I would think someone in Star Wars would carry it, where it looks like it could be futuristic, but yet in the past. Like I feel like you have to be in the genre to like the genre. The one thing I could tell you the most is that if you make a Lord of the Ring bag just because, I say, you see Shannon or me do it, but you don't like Lords of the Ring, a true person that loves Lord of the Ring is going to be able to tell.
Yeah.
Especially because people are like, how can I get into Comic Cons? Love what you're doing. Like, love the thing that you're making. Like, if you try to force something in, like, I'm not making bags that have Luffy in it because I don't know all the things to One Piece. And if someone's like, oh my God, do you remember that episode? I'll be like, no, I don't. I don't. Do I have the hardware? Yes. Because I promised my son I will watch all the episodes. I got into like 6 episodes and it just...
There are like 1,000 of them. Do you know that?
I know.
Even my son who likes it and has liked it for years, he's only in like the 600s or 700s.
I know, but he wants me to watch the live actions with him. I've only got into like 6 episodes and didn't keep my attention. And like, that's hard for you can't keep my attention, okay? But like, okay, like you can't just like something to make something.
Yeah.
I feel like that has a huge part of like passion projects. Like you have to be a part of it. That's how you can find out someone is like authentically that person. Like
right.
I feel like when I make cheetah bags, people know I don't like cheetah print. Like you could tell. Like I feel like they know I don't like it. They'll be like, that ain't Chanova.
Right.
That's not
right.
You don't own not one thing that's cheetah print in your closet. You're absolutely damn.
I feel the same thing when I make a Disney bag. Like I don't hate Disney, but like it's just not my I don't go to that side of the fandom very often.
It's
I have a
imposter
whole
syndrome.
Yeah, it's like I have them because people want them, but that's why I have them.
It's a feeling that you put into your bag. It's what you're seeing is not necessarily the world's best bag. You could probably feel the person behind the bag and you're like, oh man, this bag is great.
I can make a nice bag, but it's not the same as when you are super inspired, you know, like there's a difference you can tell. And it goes back to the question about inspiration, you know. You source inspiration when you love something, you know, like you're excited about it. You know enough about it to like kind of pull one little thread, to use that metaphor, and just, you know, go from there. And like that's what I did with the Gandalf Adina last year, where I really just was like, I like his embroidery here. I want to make a Gandalf bag, and you just run with it. As one little aspect really can go really far. But you have to have the source. You have to have the
there has
source
to be
material.
There's a meat and potatoes. Like I'm saying, like when you come into my room door, there's a farm door, but it says you should not pass in there. And there's been moments when my kids came in and I have my Gandalf staff and I'm sitting there screaming, you know, and then my kids are like, you need to stop watching the movies, Mom. And I'm like, that's like blasphemy. What are you talking about? It's weird. Or like, you know, like, or there's debates. Like I've been waiting to do a Sonic the Hedgehog bag. Like I have had a shadow bag in my head forever. I've been trying to execute the hedgehog theme forever. But me and my daughter, we fight all the time. I call her Tells and she says she's Shadow. And I'm like, I'm closer to Keanu Reeves' age than you. I am Shadow. All right. But like, if you've never seen, you don't have any idea what this conversation is, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm making a Sonic the Hedgehog bag. You're going to be like, the person's going to feel like you don't know anything about it. It's like, there has to be some kind of joy behind the thing. Like, there has to be some kind of inspiration. Yeah, it's really important. And as far as like pattern pieces and stuff like that, it's just like what my best thing I could say is like Chris from Simply Classic asked me to hack her pattern. She has called a group called Double Stitches, where we're going to take one of her patterns and we both put a hat. So when I got her bag, I seen that it was a clutch. I was looking off the runway, and what a lot of people don't know this about me, because I do make a lot of fandom stuff, but I love fashion. My mom was like a complete fashionista, and she loved fashion and clothes. And again, I come from garment making, from people making tuxedos and gowns. And another thing about me is I like to make myself pinup dresses. Like if you go scroll further down enough on my Instagram, and you'll be like, oh, Chanova makes a lot of pinup dresses. And I like to make pinup dresses that are nerdy. Okay. So like if you go into Gertie and look up my name, you're gonna see a lot of Star Wars pinup dresses. Okay. So I I'm like in here and I'm like, okay, so for spring of 2026 and fall of 2026, there's a lot of Coachella vibes with fringe. So I made the bag with fringe, and I did connectors that you use gate rings so that you could take the gate rings off but still have a clutch. That was my trend, my hack. And I got that just by looking at fashion.
Yeah.
Just looking at uh keeping it authentic and just paying attention to the runway. And fringe was all over it, down the jackets, on bags, on pants, and just paying attention to what is in fashion now. Like if you want to make some bags right now, a lot of faux fur is all over the runway. Like right now, Uggs is killing it with like faux fur bags, and same with and like it's just all over the runway, just faux fur bags. I never thought I was going to say this, but it's super in trend right now. It's crazy. But like it's because I love bag making so much, I do look at what's in fashion. So just take a time and we're not trying to keep up with the Kardashians. Just sit down and look what's going on in Paris Fashion
Yeah.
Week for a second, and you might see something that you may like and could put it into your bag making. It's crazy, and it might grab more attention to your bags and get you more sales, because people are going to see it in magazines, and then they're going to see it in your bag, and they could think it's more, no one else can have my bag because it's made by you.
And that's what they're also getting advertised to on various social media platforms, because that is what's trending. And so if your search history or looking for bag designs or things like that, it's going to get pushed to you anyway. So definitely, I am not one that tends to do a lot of the fashion research. I do tend to see what's available from designers so I can kind of get ideas for, you know, I don't want to necessarily say source ideas from, but like be inspired by the high end bags that are out and about right now. And then it can help trigger some inspiration for me. But I am also not a person like I said, I'm pretty head down. Like as far as like fashion stuff, I never really follow a lot of trends, maybe to my detriment, but I'm also not super interested in like fashion as a whole. I'm way more practical, fashion forward. Like, does this work? Does it function? And does it look decent while doing it? Great. Those are the boxes I need checked. But not everyone and not all your customers are going to want that. You know, sometimes they're going to want the additional flair, and the flash is going to come from something like a fashion designer who is making bags as well. You know, so it's definitely worth at least exposing yourself to what's out there and then seeing what comes from it, for sure. Okay. Tara asks, and this is the last question: I am obsessed with how gorgeous your hair is. I wish I had curly hair. What products does she use?
I use a lot of it's very simple. I use depending on, I'm a hair product junkie. I cannot lie to you. But if I go into stores, there's this product called Cake, and you can get it at Walgreens, and it has like, you can buy, they have a shampoo and conditioner, and then they have like a curl cream, and they have this really weird product. It looks like a foam, but it's a foam that turns into a gel. I don't know how it works. It's a very weird thing, and it smells like cupcakes. And it's
Nice.
weird. It's really interesting because like whenever I stand by someone, they'll be like, "Oh man, I want cupcakes," and I'm always giggling because I know what it is. It's my hair. The products work really nice on my hair. I use different products for different seasons. Like during the winters, I try to use something that has more moisture, because curly hair has a tendency of being more drier, because the way our sebum works in our hair is the same way as straight people. Straight hair people have the oils can go down your shaft easier, and that's why you guys have a tendency of washing your hair more often, because the
I have
oils
to wash mine every day.
Yeah, because the oils go down. But when you have curlier hair, it's harder for the sebum oils to go down because you have curly hair or coils. So that's what I usually use. I usually use different products for different seasons, and I do believe in deep conditioning your hair at least once a week or more. And my favorite deep conditioner right now is um oh my gosh, I just got Olaplex has this really cool deep conditioner at Sephora's that my sister told me about. And it is like the most hydrating deep conditioning mask I've ever had in my life. And I felt like I was like, do you guys, I don't know, maybe I'm aging myself, but like I remember when I was a kid, they used to have Pantene Pro V commercials and they would have
Mm-hmm.
the models like sway their hair. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, I have some Pantene Pro V hair right now. And like
Man, I would love to have that.
well, the thing is about this conditioner is after you use it once, it lasts for 5 washes. And I was like, "Shut up." Oh, so I'm super happy right now. Yeah.
Wow, that is
Oh,
awesome.
I know, really. I'm super and they have it for, like, all different hair grades too, like, if you, for straight, curly, or wavy, or whatever. I was
Mhm,
like, "This is" because my sister has a looser curl than I do. She has, like, these
mhm.
big Bonicello curls, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm not gonna use your hair product," and she's like, "No, Shaneova, trust me," and then I tried it, and I was like, "Oh my god, best thing ever." So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I get excited about hair products, it's weird.
I bet, I bet, I bet. I mean, like, for me, I have such a very I have a very basic, boring routine because my hair is very fine. I have a lot of it, but it's very fine. And I have an oily scalp. So have to wash every day, have to blow dry, if I'm going to do anything with it. So mine is, I don't have the luxury of not washing my hair every day. All people are like, oh, you just got to train it. You got to train it. Okay. I've tried training it. Shut up. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work
Yep.
for my hair.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. I've tried for years. It does not work.
You have to do what's
um,
best for your hair. I hate when other people tell you to do what to do with your hair, and you're like, "It's best
right.
for my scalp."
Right.
So,
Like I promise you it does not work for my hair. As much as I would love it to, it doesn't. And it's fine. It is what it is. I'm also not too, I don't it's whatever. It's just hair for me. Like I have such like basic hair that it's just like it's not a statement for me. But I love
I
too
don't
that
I don't think your hair is basic. I've always thought your hair is really pretty.
oh, thank you. It's very gray. I love my grays. I have a lot of grays. But it's just like just feels like, just a standard haircut. Like I don't try too hard or whatever. Sometimes I might break out the curling iron. Okay. I might do that sometimes. Sometimes I
You're
might
like,
put a little braid in it and get a little crazy. But like I don't do any coloring or any because I'm too lazy. I get my hair cut maybe a couple times a year, like I'm pretty basic. But I love that like for you, it really like it matches your personality. You have this like very bubbly, like it's why I think you enjoy teaching in person so much because you have a very infectious kind of positive energy about you that is very prevalent in person too, but like it just kind of pushes that a little bit further, that you have this gorgeous head of hair. Everyone comments on it. Like not a day goes by that I have logged in to your live and some random person makes some comment about your hair and you handle it so well. Um, I
there's some
report every fucking one of them. Report, report,
yeah,
report.
yeah. That is the. I mean, man, that is the one thing that you wish somebody would tell you before you start YouTube. That like YouTube, there's some amazing perks, but man, sometimes.
That's where the
Woo,
craziest people are, in my opinion, is on YouTube. Like, because
mm,
there is
mm.
no profile attached to them. They are fully anonymous in that situation.
But the one time I was like, I guess my enough button was like, I don't understand why people wake up and was like, "Yep, today's Tuesday. I'm here to make somebody's life." I guess in my head, I cannot ever phantom what would make people say negative stuff. Like they wake up and it's like, I want to ruin
Choose
someone's life
violence.
today.
I
Like
choose
it's
violence
just,
today. Like,
I don't know.
I can't imagine.
I, I,
What does it take? What is it inside of a person that's like, I'm gonna do that. I'm
it's
gonna
just,
be mean
it's a
today.
very crazy thought. Like, I mean, I can here's the weird thing, I can see if the person knows you and they wanna do, like, an anonymous thing and they just they don't like you. And they're like, I
Mm-hmm.
want to make this person's life hell today. I could totally get it. Like, I don't like Chanova, like, type of way, right? Like,
Dude,
I
not
get it.
me. The whole time I'd be like, I'm gonna get caught. They're gonna know it's me. I could
And
never.
yeah, I can get that. Like, I'm actually on board. Like, I'll be like, okay, cool. But like someone truly anonymous, like a telemarketer, like I don't get that. Like, cause even I like when I'll see it like on little kids, like when kids do like live on TikTok and there's somebody weird and you're just like, why are you here? Like, I don't understand. Like, I know everyone's like a troll's a troll, but why? How? Like, and it
What
goes
is the
back to,
source of the troll? What is
yeah,
their origin story? Please
yeah,
tell
like,
me.
I think that's always my curiosity of her thing. It's like, how did we get to this place where you think it's okay for you to do this? Like, that's always my question for things. Is like, how? Just like how?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think that we'll ever be able to understand though. It's one of those things where like, you just there's no logic behind it, so you can't understand it. But it is pretty crazy, and it's just crazy how prevalent it is
yeah.
on YouTube. It is bananas.
Yeah, because I've had way more good days than I had bad days.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
there was one bad day that like I couldn't stop crying.
Oh.
And it was a racial slur, and I just couldn't, like, why would someone take it there? Like, I've never got, like, I I didn't expect that. I mean,
Mhm.
I've been called that before, but I just didn't expect that. Like, again, like, the question is why?
Yeah. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's not
Yeah.
okay. Like yeah, we can joke about it but like that's not a joking matter, you know?
Yeah,
Like that is full on bullying and
but
like
that's on s like, why? Like, it's
yeah, you don't even know them. They don't even know you.
yeah,
Why would somebody do that and like kind of just launch this random but very personal attack
yeah,
for
and
no
that's
reason?
that's the thing about putting yourself out there, and I
Yeah.
want everyone to feel like they can, but you also have to protect your mental health, and it's okay to cry. It's good to have um, a therapist, and it's really great to have friends that you could bounce off of and talk to, and a significant other if you have one that you can talk to, because you're going to have good days and have bad days. You're going to have people that are going to be fully supportive of your every moment that you have, but there might be moments that are not so great. And when they're not so
Mhm.
great, having that, like, surrounding of friends and
Yeah.
that are like, here, we're here for you. What can we
Yeah, the
do?
support system is so important
Yeah.
when you put yourself out there on social media. It is tough, and it's good to have people to kind of center you, bring you back down to reality, like somebody like Olivia and
Yeah.
Lauren and Nikki and Maria, who are like, they just make you feel better when you kind of feel like shit because of somebody
Yeah.
else just throwing harmful, hateful words out there. So I'm I'm glad that you have one because it's really important to have for sure.
Definitely.
So the last part of the final press pass is where you ask me a question. So do you have one ready?
Yes, I have one. All right. I think because all in our circles of friends and the people we have, that we feel that everyone knows like everything. There's been a new wave of new bag makers, and I've noticed it even on my channel. There's two parts of this. What Chanova, say a question right. Okay, like, okay, Chanova, okay. What bag designer would you tell a bag makers to start their journey on? And also, what supplies would you tell them to start with?
Okay. So the easier of the two questions is the second one. So the one thing that I fully regret getting so late in my journey was my heat press or my steam press technically. I treat it as a heat press. I don't put any water in it. But when it comes to fusing materials, um, it's invaluable and it makes that process less frustrating, less time consuming. So you get to the fun part. It is absolutely, if you can just drop if you can invest $200 into a heat press, not only can you use it for your bag making, but you can use it for a lot of other projects too if you decide bag making is not for you, and you can press the hell out of your clothes with it. So like, why not? But that absolutely is one of the biggest things for me was that. As far as like essentially if somebody came into the sewing world and it wasn't me and my patterns, who else would I recommend and their patterns? That is really tough for me to say, only because a lot has changed in the last since I started designing. So technically I started designing the Gaia in 2021. And that is like not long after that is when I fell off a little bit of sewing anyone else's patterns, because then the Gaia was successful and I kept going with it because it was financially the smart move to make and I enjoyed doing it. But I would say probably, I think this is kind of, I don't know, maybe it says something about me, but I would probably recommend either um, Erica from Lavender and Twine or Alexis from Orosa, because they are very similar to me in the way that my brain works and the way that I want things to be explained and how extensive it is and how in depth it is and things like that. And you're constantly seeing those two groups being posted and shared as what looks harder but is easier to accomplish, and what is available and what teaches you more extensively. I'm sure there are others, and this is not to speak poorly of anyone else, but I think that the three of us our mind works in very similar ways when it comes to designing and writing and releasing patterns in the ways that we do, and the amount of bags we make, and like our standards are very similar, although we're all very different as well.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that's probably who I would suggest for sure.
I get it. I can see the similarities, and I actually kind of, if somebody was asking me, I would definitely say you guys, you three, and not, again, not to say anything, not anything negative. It's just that, again, I feel wholeheartedly that if there was no YouTube, if there was no
Hmm.
YouTube,
Yeah.
that someone can get your guys' pattern done from A to Z,
Yeah.
simple, because you guys kind of hold your hand and be like, I could walk you through
Yeah.
this. Like,
That's my thing, is I want it to be as extensive as the video tutorial, but in written form. That's
hmm
my goal. Because that's why, do you need to see me clip it on one picture and then sew it on the next picture? Probably not. You can just scroll past that if you don't need it. But some people need to see the stitch line and some people need to see the clips. And so like that.
yeah,
I love that extensiveness. Is it fun to edit 400 photos? It is not.
no, you do edit a lot of them. You
Every
do.
fucking one. It's so annoying.
I know,
Um,
I'm not gonna. I like the photos in yours. I do like the dad jokes.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah,
They're
they're
fun.
fun.
They're fun. You gotta have fun with it. You gotta put fun when and where you can, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last part is the mantra. And so um for your episode, I just felt like, because really the big thing about you that I was like, not the main reason. This is always hard because there's always like one aspect of a person that's like, that's why I want to have them on the show. And it seems kind of silly when I think about it that way, because of course I want the whole person on the show, but it's like this one. It's like this. I just love this part about you so much. And it's you being so supportive, and you got that mental Rolodex, and you're just wonderful. And so I try sometimes, I've only had so many of these episodes, but to tie in the mantra to the person in some, or into the conversation. And so for you, it was dig deeper, right? So like, dig deeper, find that more positive sort of thing to say or thought process to have. Dig deeper, try to figure out how you can make this bag pattern, this process or whatever, be what you want it to be by mashing something else in. Like, be more creative with your work, dig deeper, like, and maybe that's kind of silly, but I just, like, that's what you remind me of so much. It's like
That's
that,
so
just like that
sweet.
that positive sort of like energy. Like, you really, I pick up on it. Other people have to pick up on it. If they don't, they're idiots. That's fine. But I pick up on it. And so anyway, I think you're a great source of inspiration for just that thought process alone.
That's so
Yeah.
sweet. That is so incredibly kind, and I will definitely take that. I might put it I have Post-its everywhere. I might have to put it on a Post-it on my wall. I'm notorious for that. I have I have 2, I have 2, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So, the one I've already said on here a couple times, practice takes progression. I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe there's a thing as perfection. I don't believe that.
Right.
I think
Agreed.
I believe the moment that you hit perfection, you're not going to want to do this anymore. And I feel truly that's what you don't want to do. I think that kind of like when your favorite show comes to the end, everyone hates the ending. You know why people hate the ending? Because they never wanted it to end.
Well, neither.
They,
So I think, just side note, tangent. I think part of it is also because neither do the creators, so they don't
yeah,
have fun writing the ending. Same thing.
yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
And I feel like when it comes to an end, nobody wants it. And
Right.
there's very few TV shows that I was like, yeah, the ending was perfect.
Agreed.
And it's because nobody wants it to end. And so I think just say progression. You're going to get better each time you do
Yeah.
something.
Right.
It
Or
just,
and even just say you're going to try. Don't
yeah,
even put that pressure on yourself to be better every time. You're going to try to make progression through the practice. And the trying is all that matters because it will come if you're trying to make it come. For sure.
and the second one, it kind of, kind of emulates what I just said, but I said it to someone literally in Captain's Log, like before I came on here. My mom used to say this to me all the time, but I say it a lot when I type it out to people. Nothing good comes easy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So somebody was like, "Hey," I showed them Maggie 55's Jasmine. They're like, "Hey, Shanova, can you give me some tips or give me some other suggestions for a mini backpack?" I was like, "I can give you some suggestions, but nothing good comes easy." I'm like, I'm going to give you the Mayfield. I'm going to give you the terracotta from Country Cow. I'm going to give you, I listed all the Cumberland bag from So Sweetness, but none of these are easy. None of them are easy. Nothing good
Yeah.
comes easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so much of our world, people try to just, they want to get the most for the least amount of work. And I think that like those two things aren't necessarily aligned. I really don't think, I think that what I strive to do, just me, is I strive to push people to try harder, to do more, to invest more time because 9 times out of 10 it pays off. It
Yeah.
pays off in how it looks and how it feels and how it lasts. And then it pays off in what you learn. It's it's not going to be easy, but you can still do it and just push yourself. I absolutely agree. It's worth the effort 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
And when it's not, you can curse me then. That's fine. But until then, do the work.
Yeah. And I feel that the if what you're admiring in my bag is the how I did the zipper or my top stitching or how I did the patch or a design on the bag, just because I did it fast doesn't mean it wasn't easy.
Right. And it was hard for a long time before it became easier for me to do. So the
Yeah.
work is still there. You just haven't necessarily reached that goal yet, or that
Yeah.
that point in your journey yet, for sure. Um, I get that question a lot about top stitching and stuff, and
Yeah. Yeah, because my top
yeah,
stitching thing is to tell people just to breathe. Because I swear, I
yeah.
think when I watch people top stitch, it's like they hold their breath, and I'm like, "We are not swimming. I don't know what you're doing, but can you breathe?" Like, if you breathe, it will help you out tremendously. Oxygen to the
hmm
brain is needed for top stitching. So
And take your time, and
take your
take your
time,
time
one
until
stitch
you
at a
don't even
time.
realize you're not taking your time, and then
Yeah.
that's when you've hit the goal that you're looking for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think people think when they get to a certain level or when they see certain bags and they'll see a bag from you and they're like, "Oh, it took you like 2
Yeah. Oh,
days
I
to
could
make this
never do that.
do that." And you're like, "No, you can, but you gotta
Yeah.
just understand that just because I did it in X amount of time and it takes you X amount of time doesn't mean one person it's easier than the other. No, that's not it. It's just that I I embrace the fact that I know it's not gonna be easy, so therefore, I
Right.
go in there like, "Okay, it
Mhm.
it's just
Right.
you and me bag. We're going
Right.
that's it's just coming to terms with the fact that I know
Yeah.
that we're going to be going to battle and war. I'm cool with it.
Right.
Like,
There's the difference between accepting the challenge and begrudgingly accepting the challenge,
yeah.
right? Welcoming it versus like fighting it every step of the way. Like what? And also, again, comparison is the thief of joy. You know, like
Yeah.
don't start off with that thought process of like they did it, so it's going to be way worse for me. Like, okay, it might be, but it doesn't mean it's not worth doing. It's not worth
Yeah.
trying, and
I think
it's gonna
that's
pay
the
off.
fun of it though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the
Oh, I did it.
I feel like the struggling part of the bag is weirdly fun. The fun of it, like the theme. If I feel like this bag is going to be hard for me, just like when I finally do the Maisie, it's going to be hard. But I feel like when I finally conquer it, I'm going to be on cloud nine. No one's going to be able to say anything to me. I'm going to wear collars just to pop them. Just like it's going to be a thing. I'm going to be cocky for a while. Like you're going to have to pop my head because I'm going to be floating. Like it's
Oh my
it's
god.
fun. It's
I
conquering
cannot
that fear.
believe how well you just wrapped up that episode. Like, I cannot believe that. Who is the host? It is not me this episode, Nova. All right. So, where can people find you on the various platforms? Where can people watch your captain's log, all that stuff?
So on YouTube, That's So Nova. It's spelled just like it sounds. That's So Nova on YouTube, and I have my Facebook group is That's So Nova as well, and my Instagram is actually Chanova Chanova Acala Alcala. That's my maiden name. There's not a lot of us left, so I kept that like I
That's
only have
fair. That's fair.
4 siblings and my Instagram is not it's just usually bags. I don't like post my kids unless they're magically modeling and it's begrudgingly. They're gonna be like angrily modeling. So you'll be like, "What is wrong with your kid?" I'm like, "They're modeling."
They're
And
not
they'll
happy
model for
about it,
something
but it's fine.
there and they get themes for it too. And I'm like, and they're all like emo in the picture and you're like, "Okay, calm down." Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for our chat today, Nova. You are an absolute treat. I don't know if I've laughed this hard the whole episode than I have before today's episode. Not to shame any of the other guests, but thank you for that.
No
You have
worries.
been an absolute treat, as expected, for sure. Always good to chat with you.
It's always good to chat with you too. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I hope you picked up on just how good of a time I had. Shaneova is truly a treat. And if you get the opportunity, please follow her, engage with her, anything. She is just a good human. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I can just explain it further than that. She's just a genuinely good human. But I would also like to extend my condolences to Nova. She did lose one of her dogs shortly after we recorded this episode, and it was so heartbreaking, and I am so sorry for her. And I hope, Nova, if you are listening to this or watching this, that you just know that I'm thinking of you, and I wish I could send you virtual hugs. Consensual, of course. And of course, now it is time to get into the Seam Society shoutouts. If you're not aware of what that is a perk you get from the $10 tier for the show's Patreon. You also get other benefits. And just an example of what the subscribers got for their behind-the-scenes content. This week, they got actually kind of their best, I think, behind-the-scenes content so far, which was they were able to get access to, thanks to Nova, the interview I had with Nova back in November for her Patreon. She very kindly gave me access to then give to the subscribers, and so that was really wonderful. So it's like she got the subscribers got a whole extra episode, so really wonderful. Yeah, so let's get into the shout outs. Tara V, thank you so much for supporting the show. Jessica A, thank you so much, as well as your fur baby, for tuning in and sharing the show every week. Hua V, thanks for supporting Splitting Seams. Nicole H, thanks for your support. Olivia C, thank you so much for supporting the show. Stacy K, thanks for your support. Jabby S, thank you so much for supporting the show. Greg H., I hope you enjoyed your additional shout out in the episode, but also thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean a lot. Laurel Z, since we can't be fellow members of the Donut Holes, I hope that this will suffice. Thank you so much for your support. Nyasha J, thanks for supporting the show and for your kind and supportive words. Ash, I hear your growling and I support you and join you in it. Amanda S, thank you so much for supporting Splitting Seams. Sam W, I can't wait to see your Gaia. Eileen, thank you so much for supporting the show. Jess P, thank you so much for supporting the show, and I hope the episodes have been long enough for you. Carrie C, as if I didn't love you enough to find out that you're also a gamer who has played very similar games to me. Thank you so much for supporting the show, and I support you in your continued geekery. Gina S, thank you so much for supporting Splitting Seams. And to my Loose Threads support tier, thank you so much for supporting the show. And for all the other listeners and or watchers, thank you for tuning in. And if you happen to be listening to this before March 16th or maybe on March 16th, please know that I will have a 37% off sale on my website for that 24 hours as I will be turning 37. So, and while you're at it, remember from last episode that Jenny Green from Sincerely Jen Patterns will also be having a discount, which is going to be a little bit better than mine. And she has a lot more patterns than I do. So definitely check her out as well. So happy birthday, Jenny, and happy birthday to me. So until next time.